What's going on YouTube? This is Stan JB and here's another episode of EDT. So, today I want to talk about something because we're in October and it means we have one of my most anticipated phones dropping this month along with a big upgrade to the Android system. So, of course, I wanted to revisit the Google Pixel 4 XL. And I want to see how this thing stacks up in late 2021 when everybody has their new phones and we have a brand new Pixel about to launch. So let's jump in and see how this guy stands out. Now, of course, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. Do all the general YouTuber thing, hit that bell icon, yada, yada, yada. And please, what I really want to see is you guys actually drop in the comments what you felt about this phone, what you think was missing from this phone, and how excited you are for the brand new Pixel 6 and 6 Pro that should be dropping later this month. Now we gotta look at the design of this thing. So, obviously this phone came out roughly 2 years ago, but I gotta say, looking at it from the back, it still looks really, really good. The Pixel 4 XL did a really good job of having this beautiful glass back that does not attract fingerprints or anything of that nature. It's like some nice matte coating on the sides, these nice black rails, of course with the little accent color. I do think this thing still holds up when you're looking at it from this angle. A lot of phones still have these squared off camera bumps. They still have this matte glass finish, which is very popular, and I'm hoping we see on the 6 and 6 Pro, although it doesn't look like that. I mean, hey, you see the iPhones, the Galaxies, everybody's doing this matte glass look. iPhones still do this rounded, like squircle camera bump. Of course, theirs has the 3 protrusions, but the Pixel actually did it a really nice way where all the cameras are kind of just in this little casing. So there's no extra bumps. It's very smooth and it's actually very minimal. It's a nice contrast and it stands out. So I think if you were going to pick this up, you're not going to worry about the looks when someone sees you using your phone. The part that's going to be a bit outdated and honestly felt outdated back when this phone released, definitely going to be the screen. You see, it's not that it's bad. I mean, the screen has wonderful color calibration. It is fairly bright. It could have been brighter. It's a quad HD screen. It's beautiful. It's very color accurate. I love it. It has a high refresh rate, even though it's only 90 hertz and nowadays everything's at 120 hertz. But the part that makes this feel outdated is this giant forehead. Now I get it. They had to put the Soli radar technology in the top half of the phone, so they kind of had to have this big old forehead, which even in 2019 standards when this phone launched, it didn't look too good. It was a bit jarring. Now granted, when I used it, I didn't have any issue with it. It never really got in the way of watching media. In fact, compared to a lot of the notches and hole punches, having a bigger bezel felt better to me personally. But if we're going straight off aesthetics, it wasn't the best out there. And it does look outdated. Now jumping back into the screen, I mentioned it had the 90 hertz panel and that was very, very good. Even back then, it was way more exciting back in 2019. Nowadays, everybody's at the 120 hertz. So yes, the refresh rate is a little outdated because now we have budget phones with 120 hertz. But I will say this, after running the Android 12 beta on this guy, oh man, with the changes they're doing to the framework to make animations better, it feels so smooth. I mean, I compare it to my Galaxy S21 often, and a lot of times because of how good the animations are and the changes made behind the scenes in Android 12, that 90 hertz feels really, really good. So while 120 hertz is the big bad, highest refresh rate that every current and modern phone has now, I will say if you're picking this up, that 90 hertz isn't gonna hurt. Hell, it's way better than 60 hertz. If you go and pick up an iPhone 13, you're gonna have to deal with 60 hertz. But this 2-year-old phone, you're at least gonna have a way more smooth and just buttery experience with this guy. Now, one aspect that has not held up well, hell, it wasn't that good even back when it launched, it's got to be the battery. So let me start off by saying I can make it a whole day with my Pixel 4 XL, but I also have a car charger, so when I'm driving between different places for my job, I don't really worry about the battery life. And even when I'm home and, just out and about, doing things around the town, the battery life wasn't so bad. But for 2019 standards, it was pretty poor. Compared to the competition, especially on the smaller regular Pixel 4, it didn't stack up. Fast forward to now in 2021, when the iPhone 13 just dropped with this amazing battery life, man, this guy is going to feel outdated if you decide to pick it up. Now, obviously, if you are buying a phone that from 2019, you're probably not worried about the latest and greatest specs. You probably understand that you're going to get a used phone that's battery health is not at 100%. You're not going to expect iPhone 13 level battery. So if you go picking up a used Pixel 4 or 4 XL, with that in mind, you're not going to be super disappointed. It is possible to last a day on the 4 XL. With that 4, carry a battery pack. But when it comes to this guy, no, it's not as terrible as the tech reviewers made it out to be, but it's definitely not holding the candle to the competition now. So that's just something to remember in 2021. Now, how about that software? Well, here's a wonderful thing about Google and the Pixel series. They're always updated. I mean, yeah, they don't have the iPhone level of updates, but they're still the one to beat when it comes to how long they get major updates on Android phones. Yeah, we understand Samsung gets really good updates. They get more security updates for long term, whereas Pixels tend to get the big updates, and they get it first. So the software you're going to receive on this will be the standard for Android in 2021. And I've been playing with Android 12, and man, is it smooth. Some of the privacy and security features I really love. But I don't want to dive too deep into that because I want to make a separate video talking about my experience with Android 12. So I'll be sure to link that in the description whenever I shoot that video, alright? Now, of course, one of the big reasons people buy phones, the camera. And I have to say, back in 2019, this was the camera king. You could not find anyone who didn't love the Pixel camera. If they did hate it, they were probably lying, or they were probably like Samsung fanboys. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You just couldn't. It's so good. And it wasn't actually the hardware that made it so good. You see, Google has the best computational photography, and they still do. They still are the best when it comes to computational photography. The problem now is Samsung and Apple have caught up. They may not be as good as Google, but they're really close. But they got the leg up because they have the newer hardware and the bigger lenses. So yes, this guy takes amazing night shots. But an iPhone 13 or 13 Pro or Galaxy S21 or 21 Ultra can take amazing night shots with less noise because of those bigger, newer sensors. I will say that even though the Galaxy S21 series can take technically better detailed pictures, this is still the most reliable camera I've used on a phone because its shutter speed is amazing. I can catch pictures of my dog or my child when they're moving around, which I can't do on some of these newer phones. The only one that really holds a candle with is probably the iPhone. In 2021, the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro is the camera to beat on a phone. Galaxy is probably number 2, but Pixel has dropped down to number 3. Now, for a 2-year-old phone, that's still really, really good, especially because the hardware in this is older than 2 years old. So you just got to put that into account. It's not that it's awful. It's not that it's terrible. It's just older hardware with great AI and great software making these pictures look even better. They're nice and contrasty. They are beautiful in their own right. It has its own artistic look to it. It's rich, it's vibrant without looking oversaturated and like cartoony. But that hardware is going to be a limiting factor on how it stacks up. Now, how about that video? Man, in 2019, the Pixel 4 XL wasn't anywhere close to being a video king. And that holds true in 2021. especially with the iPhone and with the Galaxy and what Huawei and all these guys, what all these guys can do, even OnePlus. OnePlus is now beating the Pixel when it comes to certain photography and videography situations. That's crazy. But let's wait till the end of the month and see what this Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro do, because they're finally gonna get some new hardware. So I'm excited to see what this brand new hardware can do with Google's tried and true software. But as of now, if you're looking for the best camera on a budget phone, this actually isn't it anymore. It hurts saying that. I mean, you can get yourself an older iPhone and it's gonna have a wonderful camera and an amazing video camera. But this guy's not gonna do the trick. It also doesn't even have a wide angle lens. It only has a standard wide and it has the telephoto, but no ultra wide, which nowadays we want every option in our pocket. So I can honestly say this is not the top dog in cameras anymore. Granted, yeah, it's a couple of years old, but even the Pixel 5 uses the same hardware. So you're not gonna have the best camera anymore. You're gonna have an amazing and very, very, very reliable camera. But when it comes to just sitting down and looking at the images, there's guys out there that beat it. And what about some other features? Well, let's talk about it. Solely radar? When it comes to using it for Spotify and switching music, it's a flop. It doesn't work not 100% of the time. And for that to be a selling factor, it has to work like 100% of the time. It works like 80%. I will say, when you're not trying to interact with the Solely radar chip, directly, it works amazingly. When it comes to face unlock, it's super fast and super reliable. When it comes to awakening before you even pick up the phone, it's super quick. It can tell when you're getting close and then show on your screen so you can see your notifications without you even touching it. It's amazing, but that's all running in the background. So I would love to see Solely put in these newer phones with a focus on the ambient usage of that radar chip, or radar sensor, sorry. One of my favorite underrated features is the squeeze for Google Assistant. Man, I hope they keep that in the 6 series because I use it so much. I thought it was a gimmick. I thought it was stupid. Why would I want to squeeze my phone? Now I can't stop squeezing this thing. It works so well, so extremely well. And the build of this phone still feels great. Let's get into that, by the way. I've had this phone for about the whole 2 years since it's been out, and about a year and a half of that with no case. I only have one scratch when it fell on concrete. There's no scratches on my screen. The back looks amazing. The camera looks amazing. This thing is a beast. And I know we give Google hell for their quality assurance when it comes to the devices and their hardware. But this guy, man, this was probably the best built Pixel. I'm gonna say it, like, this is the best built Pixel. I love it. And I don't even feel scared walking around without a case. And even when I squeeze it, you don't feel the phone like squeeze in or anything. It doesn't affect how the phone is built. It still retains its water resistance. Man, it's a great build. It's a great phone all around. And of course, a lot of these features, such as now playing, or how great the Google Assistant is inside of this, spam call filter, all those things, they're built into every Pixel. So you're gonna get it if you buy this one, or you buy a 4A, or you buy a Pixel 5, or you buy the new Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. Those features are tied into that Google software, that Pixel software that's so amazing. And this 4XL still has the latest Pixel software and those latest Pixel features. That's actually a really good thing, and it's a great reason to pick this up. I can't rant and rave about that aspect of it more. I love this phone more for the software than I do the camera. And I felt that way since the first Pixel came out. That's saying a lot. So what's my conclusion, guys? Should you pick this up if you can find it for dirt cheap on Amazon or Google's website or anything like that? Honestly, if you want to try out a Pixel, I would give this one a shot. If you want a Pixel with better battery life but don't feel like spending an arm and a leg, see if you can find a Pixel 5. But you're not going to have the same power that's in this. This still has pretty good specs. This still has flagship level internals, which were flagships at the time. I mean, the processor's still really good because honestly, we peaked on processor ProRes years ago, and this one was very good. The screen is beautiful, the camera's reliable. It's just that the battery life isn't quite there, and you are missing some of those camera options like ultra wide or even macro lenses. But if you need something to hold you down for a little bit, you don't feel like spending an arm and a leg, or you don't care about having the latest and greatest, see what type of deals you can find for this. It's going to be all about the deals. If you want something that's going to be a little bit more up to date and hold true to 2021 standards or even 2020 standards, I'm going to have to say, look somewhere else. This is not going to be the most modern phone. It's going to be a reliable phone in 2021, but you're not going to find like everything you can get in a budget phone in 2021 in this guy. So take that how you want it. Give it a try. I still love this guy. I'm going to be sad when I trade this in for the Pixel 6 because, I don't know, I'm attached to it. But anyways, again, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you're still holding on to your Pixel 4 XL. And once again, thanks for sticking by and listening to me rant about tech. Peace.